everybody. So today we are going to be talking about a transit that is coming up in the next couple of days at its exactitude, though really it's been going on since roughly February 6th of 2024, and it'll be going on through roughly February 21st of 2024, but it will hit its exactitude, its exact conjunction on February 14th of 2024 at 12:30 a.m. Central Time. I am talking about transiting Mars conjunct transit Pluto at 0 degrees Aquarius. And this one feels like a big deal since this is the first time that transit Mars will conjunct transit Pluto in Aquarius, and it's at 0 degrees. So it feels like a big deal. It feels like something that should be talked about here. It's been on my radar for a minute. I know that it's been on some of y'all's radars and other people that like do what I do. So it should be talked about. I also know that a lot of friends of mine have said that they really feel this in a bunch of different ways. Even clients have said that they feel it. So yeah, it should be talked about. But before I get into this, I want to throw out a couple of things. First of all, since I will be playing with the star cards in this video, if you are interested in taking your astrological knowledge to the next level, I will put the link in the description box where they can be purchased if you're interested. Also, I wanted to throw out that I will be teaching a course on transits, solar arcs, secondary progressions, return charts, like solar return chart, like your solar return chart, that kind of thing, annual perfections, and the Time Lord or Time Lords, depending on what perfection year you are in. This course will start on February 20th at 6 p.m. Central Time. My incense is going crazy. Classes will take place on Tuesdays, 6 weeks. So the first class is on February 20th of 2024, and then the last class will be on March 26th of 2024. The classes will be recorded. So, I mean, even if you make it to all of the classes, you will get a recording of each class. But like, let's say you can't make it to one, classes will be recorded, so you will still get to see what was discussed. I will make myself available on certain days for students that have questions or whatever, whether they happen to be in class that week or not. Don't feel like you are obligated to be at every single class. You don't have to. I know we all have lives. The course will be $250 in total. I am willing to do payment installations or payment plans for people that need them. I don't want cost to be a barrier to learning. I really love to teach, and I'd love to teach whoever wants to learn from me. So if you need some sort of help in that area, by all means, shoot me an email at ellie@saturnseason.com, and I'm sure we can work something out. I work things out with people all the time, so we can come to something that works for both of us. On my website, though, and I'll put the link below in the description box as well, where you can check out the course on my website, or you can purchase it. There are options to purchase it outright, full $250, pay in full, and then there's also an option to pay for half, and then the other half would be paid like 4 weeks from then or whatever. Again, we'd work something out so that it works for everybody. But both of those options are on the website. If you have any questions about the course, again, shoot me an email at ellie@saturnseason.com. Happy to answer any questions you might have about what all is included. But online, you will find, on my website, you will find a copy of the syllabus, what will be covered, the weeks they'll be covered, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, so I just wanted to throw that out there. It seemed like an appropriate thing to throw out when talking about transits. It made sense to include it. Okay. Anyway, back to Mars conjunct Pluto in Aquarius. Okay. So of course, how this particular transit impacts you, or any transit, not just this one, but any transit, how any transit is going to impact you. You want to take a look and see what house it's falling in your natal chart, right? You also want to take a look and see what planets the particular transit or whatever is touching. You know, is it conjuncting something? Is it trine something? Is it squaring something? Whatever, you know, to kind of give you an idea as to how it might play out for you personally, to make it personal. That's the most important part here, is actually making this personal. But this is something that people do feel like they have been feeling for better or worse. Let's talk a little bit about how this might come about for everybody. And, because, there's a personal way to look at transits, and then there's a collective way to look at transits. And yeah. Okay. So planets are what energy is needing to be expressed. The planet is what energy is needing to be expressed, or should be expressed, or wants to be expressed, whatever. The house is the area of life, or where energy is expressed through. And then the sign is how it's expressed. Now, I'm not really giving a shit about houses right now. I don't really care about that at the moment, because I'm literally just talking about Pluto conjunct Mars in Aquarius. Let's talk a little bit about what these two planets want to express, though. Mars, okay, so like on the cards, there are keywords and things. Mars wants to express, or needs to express, or should express, or whatever, should in quotes, because, Mars wants to express things like action, drive, independence, impulse, anger, strength, power. Both of these planets, by the way, Mars is the lower octave of Pluto, and Pluto is the higher octave of Mars. They both deal with power. Now, they both deal in power, but the difference is the power with Mars is more like animalistic. It's more earthbound, if that makes sense. It's more earthbound. Whereas the power with Pluto is more, it feels like it's more at a soul level, but both deal with power. Both deal with power. And since Pluto is an outer planet, the power with Pluto also feels like it comes from somewhere else. Somewhere beyond the earthly realm, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense to y'all. But both of these deal with power. Mars can also be conquest. Can also be wanting to, it can be conquest. And competition. That's another one. On the other hand, Pluto also deals with power, like I said before. But Pluto's very transformative, metamorphosis, death and rebirth. Pluto can also be rather obsessive compulsive, or just obsessive or compulsive, not necessarily both, but it could be one or the other, or both. A little bit of column A, column B. Pluto is also evolution, control. Pluto's also like purging, expelling, letting go. Now, Pluto doesn't let go of things easy. It doesn't, but it does know, like Pluto also being the modern ruler of Scorpio, right? Scorpio energy also kind of, in the how way, will kind of function in the same way. But both Pluto and Scorpio know they need to let go of things. Doesn't necessarily mean that they do this easily, though. Because they don't. But they do know that letting go is usually a good thing here. For growth, for evolution, for transformation, and all of, these sorts of things. Pluto can also be destruction. Mars can be destructive too. It can be. Mars can kind of be like Mars just kind of does. Just kind of acts, which can be destructive, right? It certainly can be. So Mars does have its destructive quality as well to it, or it can function that way. It doesn't have to, but it can. Pluto's also very psychological. Making sure I'm not missing anything that I wanted to touch on. Yeah, it's probably pretty. Oh, passion. Both these little motherfuckers are passionate. Both are. The passion with Mars, though, is more animalistic or more earthly. Whereas or that's how I would describe it. There are probably better words to use, but I think you get the idea. Whereas the passion with Pluto is more soulful. There's more of a soul thing going on. It's deeper. It's more intense. It's not just, I want this. There is more of like a almost like a soulful need, if you will. Yeah. So that's kind of how I would think of these, the passion here is different, but both are very passionate. And you know, both can definitely be passionate. Okay, now let's talk about Aquarius energy. How Aquarius energy might come about. Very liberated. You know, Aquarius very much can express itself in liberated ways, detached ways, eccentric ways, different, in different kinds of ways. Because this, you know, Aquarius energy is offbeat. I love Aquarius energy. I do. I think it's delightful. I really do. I think it's a lot of fun. Quirky and offbeat, you know, dances to the beat of their own drum, which I think is really pretty cool. Revolutionary, rebellious, even, for sure. You know, but this sign energy, this is a sign energy that is, it's very, okay, I want to see if I want to make sure I can word this correctly, or in the way that I want, because this energy is individualistic, because it dances to the beat of its own drum. But at the same time, the sign energy can be so, because Aquarius energy does have a focus on groups, on the collective, that sometimes true individuality is hard to find here within this energy. Aquarius energy certainly seeks for individuality. It certainly does. But it sometimes is hard to find because of the group focus, because of the collective focus, the humanity focus. It can be hard to find true individuality. The sweet spot here is for Aquarius energy. And when I say sign energy, I'm not talking about just Aquarius suns or Aquarius moons. I just mean Aquarius energy in general. And any planets that one might have in Aquarius might have a tendency to function this way, depending on the whole chart. But the real sweet spot here for Aquarius energy is when the energy can be an individual within the group versus needing the group to be an individual or to give it that individuality. And sometimes that happens. Sometimes that can happen with this sign energy. And I bring this particular piece up, the individuality, because we've got Pluto in Aquarius now, which puts the Pluto polarity point in Leo. Pluto polarity point, for those of y'all that aren't familiar, Pluto polarity point functions in a similar way to the North Node. Meaning it's kind of what we're moving towards. And Leo energy, in my opinion, is one of the most truly individualistic sign energies. It just is. Creative, you know, it is, you know, it just is. It is. I think it is. Naturally so. Sometimes even to its detriment. That it, you know, too much individualism can be an issue too, right? But that Pluto polarity point is in Leo. So we've got this individualistic, like that is kind of what we should be moving towards or balancing, if you will, between Pluto and the Pluto polarity point. Right now though, like Pluto's going to be in Aquarius for a while, meaning the Pluto polarity point will be in Leo for a while. But right now, it's either the very end of this year or early, I think it's actually early in 2025. The transiting North Node will be in Aries. Transiting South Node is in Libra. Now, Aries energy is also very individualistic. Aries energy is more self-focused. I don't necessarily mean selfish. It can go that way. It can function that way. But I just mean self-focused, independent. So we've got the Pluto polarity point in Leo, which is incredibly individualistic. And we have the transiting North Node in Aries, which is more self-focused and independent. So there is a collective if we're talking about this just in a collective way, there is a collective push towards this right now, especially with both, you know, now once that transiting North Node moves into Pisces, that's going to change just a little bit, because Pisces is more the whole sort of energy than Aries is. But right now, we are in this place of kind of wanting to move more. It does feel like more towards the individual. Now, how all this plays out for you specifically depends on what all of this is doing in your chart. But I do think what collectively and even personally we should kind of be because we can do whatever the hell we want, but should be kind of asking ourselves or looking at, you know, I kind of feel like there should be right now anyway, at least as long as, you know, the North Node is in Aries, and we've got them both in these individualistic Pluto polarity point in Leo, transiting North Node in Aries. We should be, I think, looking at perhaps taking action to letting go of group ideals, or ways that maybe the group doesn't really allow us to be an individual. Because really, I think it's and this is just like a personal thought, it's at an individual level where we can make the most difference in the world. And there are a lot of things going on in the world that need to fucking change. A lot of things in the world that need to fucking change. A lot of fucked up shit going on that needs to stop. But it's like, we can only really change things, most of us anyway, on an individual basis, on an individual scale. So I do feel like if there's any feeling of being too wrapped up or in groups or the collective in some way that's to the detriment of you really being able to do anything, and this could come about in a lot of ways. This is probably something that is needing to be purged, or let go of. You know, for some people, it could be, you know, Aquarius energy is also very progressive. It deals with long-term goals, the long term in general. And it could be that for some people, there could be a lot of passion, feeling a whole lot of passion, right? We've got these two little fuckers that are very passionate coming together in a sign that deals with long-term goals. It could be that passion is really ignited in terms of long-term goals, long-term plans. Absolutely. and this could reflect down to the individual in their own, you know, on an individual level, like maybe really taking this particular transit and thinking about, what am I most passionate about in the long term? What really lights me up? What really drives me? You know, and not just drives me on an earthly bound or animalistic way, but on a soul level, what really fucking drives me? And how can I, you know, shoot it out long term or make it happen? So it could certainly go that way. It could also, you know, this transit could also destroy long-term goals. It absolutely could, or change them. You know, because Pluto is transformation, but it is destruction. Aquarius energy can kind of function like shocking change. So it could be that for some of y'all, you know, there is some sort of drive to destroy, and it might, you know, it could be things outside of yourself. It could be things within you, and it just kind of comes on like that, like a fucking lightning bolt, and things just need to change. If anybody gets that sort of feeling, the sort of impulse, I mean, at the time that this, and like I said, this transit will be going on from roughly February 6th, 2024 through roughly February 21st of 2024. But when this is exact, when this little transit and these little planets are exact, the moon will be in Aries. It'll be like at 24 and some change Aries, almost 25 degrees Aries. So it will be squaring. It'll be an out of sign square, but it will be squaring these. So, you know, emotional independence also feels like a thing here. So if you feel like an impulse to destroy, if you feel like an impulse to destroy, this could be, you know, to destroy long-term goals that you may have had, impulse to destroy, could even be friendships. Aquarius energy can be friendships. It could tie in with this. Sorry, I've had like a sinus infection, so I'm gonna my throat's like doing some weird shit. Anyway, if you feel any impulse to do that, I almost feel like it's not so bad to, I feel like if it brings you emotional independence to do that, that might help ease the square, the tension between the transiting moon and transit Mars and Pluto. It could. If there are things that you need to be liberated from, and this could be a whole bunch of different things, but if there are things that one needs to be liberated from, definitely I would lean into that. Watch the rebellion quality with Aquarius. Aquarius energy can be very rebellious. Sometimes this is necessary. You know, there are definitely times that it is necessary to rebel for revolution. Absolutely. And there are a lot of things going on in the world right now where it is necessary. Though I might watch on a personal level, and this will depend on what it's doing in your chart, but I might watch for, if you feel this, a very strong impulse to rebel, I might really wonder, does this really bring you anything, or is it just rebelling for the sake to rebel? Because that seems like that might actually bring more chaos to you than necessary, because Aquarius energy can be a little chaotic because of the change, a shocking change, and everything that it can bring. It can be a little chaotic. Pluto can definitely be chaotic, in a very intense way. You know, transformation is chaotic. So I might really, if you feel this like impulse to really intense impulse to rebel, I might ask yourself if it's actually necessary. If it is, by all means do it. If it actually brings you some kind of, you know, individuality, if it really helps you in some way, then by all means do it. Otherwise, I might temper that impulse personally. Moving forward, also, moving on, Aquarius energy, like I mentioned, like the long-term goals thing. Aquarius energy is about, you know, moving on, moving forward into the future. So, you know, that feels like there will be an intensity there. Also in the, you know, in the world at large, in a collective way, probably see some of this as well. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there was anything else that I wanted to talk about with this. It's probably pretty good. I think you'll get the idea. But yeah, if you feel like sharing, let me know what this is doing in your chart, how you feel about it. Can you feel it? Again, take into consideration what house it falls in your chart, and any planets that it might be touching in your chart, and all that good stuff. But But yeah, I will, I guess I will see you all later.